No, it's just
Wow.
I have shit on my eyes, so I didn't know that it was like so
Wow.
obvious. So, yeah. But yeah,
Starting
just you
as
say.
soon as we mean to go on with saying either Aragon is wearing makeup or he got punched. Those are the two sides of Aragon's personality, apparently.
Yeah, let's be completely honest. That is like the two main things that can be true about. Like, whatever. I wasn't ready for the podcast to start yet. I was told. Are we live right now? Are we,
Yes.
Because it says that if
We're live.
We're
Yeah.
live.
Whatever, live.
enough.
Because when this
We
started,
live.
like apparently
live.
like 30 minutes ago or something, right? Favorite contacts me through Discord, and she's like, "Dude, the podcast is starting now. You are not online for some fucking reason, but this is starting, so you
I
should,
believe the exact words were, "Hey,
be
podcast
online
tonight."
already." Yeah. Whatever.
And then I started composing a message to numbers going, "Do you know how to go to hold of Aragon? Because he's offline and he's supposed to be streaming in 20 minutes."
I was invisible.
And then you responded, so I was like, "Oh, okay, scratch that."
Out of Aragon's mouth.
But
That's what it
that's the
is.
thing, right? And the first thing Ferret tells me is like, okay, so we're going to be doing a thing for the first 20 minutes, so you won't be appearing online for a while because we need to do the reviews. So I'm like, oh, so I can just relax.
And then
do
he looks
whatever
at the
for,
reviews
like
and starts
the next
shit-talking all the
50
authors.
minutes. So I just go away, and then suddenly
You don't
just
just
send
go
me
away.
messages by Clam here saying, "Where the fuck are you? You come join the chat, you fucking idiot."
Aragon.
And I'm like, I'm getting
Aragon.
mixed signals in here. Yeah.
Aragon. I was playing Cards Against Humanity earlier. Do you remember the last time you were in a Cards Against Humanity game? Do you remember how you were deliberately trying not to speak over everyone and yet you dominated 80% of the conversation?
I do remember that actually.
You remember that? You remember that?
I tried so hard. Oh my god, your accent is amazing. You sound so
sorry, I
poor.
missed this.
You
That
remember
sounds
that?
horrible.
Yeah, we actually played Cards Against Humanity with people like Swansong, like 90, actually cool people. I was there too because
I wasn't invited.
you have to bring down the room, so I was invited to.
Yeah.
And like we went to voice chat, and I was trying so hard not to speak the whole time. There were moments where nobody was talking, and I was like silent. And I was like, nobody was saying nothing, and I was just
there were entire seconds when
entire almost minutes, not just seconds, minutes.
There were no minutes.
Okay, then almost a minute. It was amazing. And then at the end of the game, which I won by the way, because it's super easy to cheat at Cards Against Humanity if you're high areas like yours truly.
Yeah, pretty much.
At the end of the goal, Nighty just leaves a comment at the very end, like, "By the way, you never shut the fuck up." And I was like,
it wasn't quite
that was my absolute best.
I believe his exact comment was that you were chatty.
Yeah, he's British, so he'd be very understated.
Yeah, and then both you and me said, I was actually really, really quiet. And he said,
by your
what I love is I was talking to Nighty in voice the other day, and he goes, "I think you're the only other person I know who talks as fast as I do." And I'm going, "Really? You haven't talked to Aragon?"
Yeah, pretty much. Actually, I would say that, right? One of the few people who can actually keep up with me in the whole talking really fast scenario sphere. Also, I'm going to try to make an effort, and I'm going to be completely honest here. You can see that I'm doing it already, to speak a little slower than usual.
But
right?
that's so boring.
No, because when I was in the when I was in the other
but
podcast,
it's fun.
When I was in the
I ever need encouraging?
Yeah. When I was in the Q&A University podcast, right, I remember that every 3 seconds or so, people would say, okay, like through private chat, can you slow down a little bit? And at one point, that got so ubiquitous that I got actually offended. And I was like, I am not speaking that fast. I get that it's like a joke, Aragon talks super fast, and he has like a weird accent, and we can't understand what the fuck he's saying. And I was like, whatever, but I am not talking that fast, you're exaggerating. And then they were, laughed at me saying, you really do not know how fast you speak. And I was like, fuck it. And then like 2 days later, I listened to the podcast and I sound like the biggest fucking idiot, like the biggest fucking hypocrite. I speak really, really fast, but the thing is, I don't hear myself speaking that fast, either because I'm smarter than I think or because I'm really, really dumber than I think I am, which is probably like the actual.
I think it mostly comes down to
racial differences, something like that.
It's also a case of you're about as ADD as I am.
Pretty much.
When I lived in flats, there was a fellow who lived on in the flat below me. He was from Spain, and he was exactly like you. He talked just as fast, and he had exactly the same hair, the bastard. And every time I went down to see him, I was there for an hour, and it was just constant. It was really fascinating conversation, but all I had to do was listen.
It's a Mediterranean thing. It seems to be like it's to a degree in certain southern French groups.
Yeah, we are fiery. Is the term?
Yeah,
we are fiery. We are
sitting here making lots of.
Just tell me at one point how you don't kiss a woman on the cheeks. It's an offense.
It's an offense. It's an offense. Like people laugh at me, but if I meet you fair, I will kiss you on the cheeks. Like you don't actually go and kiss the cheek. Well, you too. Why not? I mean, you're one of me. The thing is, like, I remember when I went to Germany to visit one of my friends, and they were like, "No, you have to like shake." Yeah, Selby, exactly. You have to shake. I didn't want to say his name because I don't want him to be popular. You know, I want him to be popular because I fucking hate him. Nice. Exactly. You know. Like I remember him telling me, no, you have to shake hands with my mother, and I was like, actually, I'm not going to insult your mother. The first thing I'm not going to insult your mother. First thing I do in Germany. Instead, I just broke his toilet. That was hilarious. But yeah, if you shake hands with a woman in Spain, unless it's like in a professional, ambience, like if you go, for example, if you go to the office, and you see your boss, and she's like, "Oh, good morning, Aragon. I will be your boss." You don't fucking make out with her. Well, maybe if you're pretty enough, like, and this is like a professional thing. But in a more social way, when you just meet somebody at the pub or like somebody's mother, you kiss her cheeks. Yeah, you kiss both of them. You don't actually like kiss, not lip towards the cheek. It's just you press the cheeks together and you make like mwah, mwah, a mwah mwah noise. That's pretty much it. Apparently the Greek people do it 3 times. The Italians probably just give you a hand job because they are like really fiery. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, I knew it.
Serbia does 3 as well.
Yeah. Also, we were supposed to have like a topic here, right?
I think. Well,
I was actually going to interrupt and say, "Welcome to the podcast, everyone."
That's about the only thing you're going to say for the next hour and a half.
Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast, people.
Jake the Army guy. Jake the Army guy says, "If this is slow, I want to hear fast." I don't.
Yes, you do. Fast is great.
I was just.
I'm going to try not to be as
what Aragon actually has to say about the fix that we reviewed this week, just because our reviewers aren't here.
No, we don't.
I already heard it. No, you don't.
Let's get rid of Aragon's opinions. Let's get rid of them right fucking now.
Okay. On the 3 fix you review. Okay, so I'm going to start with horse voice. Is that how you pronounce it? I was like this close. No, I respect horse voice. I think he's like
That's
a really,
not why I'm
really
laughing. I fully realize that you like horse voice.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, I was this close to saying bad horse here because I got like a similar name.
Yeah, like bad horse has never had a fic that links under 1500. That's a nice thought.
Yeah. Anyway, horse voice is, I think, I think he's with Kitsune Risu, which is like another user, one of the few people who are like famous for writing horror in the site and actually making
it. For writing good horror.
And I find that so amazing because how do you write horror about little Technicolor magical ponies, right? The little horses. Just you don't see Twilight Sparkle and go, oh god, she can fuck me up. I mean, she could fuck me up. A slightly muscled baby could fuck me up. I have the strength of a ladybug. But you're not afraid of these motherfuckers. So I always think, either you have to create some kind of atmosphere, some kind of atmosphere that is like so relatable that you like relate to the pony and you feel fear because they feel fear. I remember trying to think of a horror story once because I was stupider when I was younger and being like, okay, so it's just a pony wakes up and her legs have been amputated and it's just she cannot move and she's in the middle of the forest at night. And there's like the starting image and that's scary if you can write it so well that the reader just sees themselves in that situation. But like that's super hard to do because you need to like the suspension of disbelief is up the fucking roof. You need to really pull it off, or you have to, I don't know, make the ponies feel like actual characters, so it's so scary that the reader forgets that he's reading about a character unironically named Pinkie Pie. So it's like you really have to pull it up. And Horse Voice does that, like consistently, and he's famous for it. So
he's got a number of really good horror stories that it's the atmosphere that makes it work, you know?
Exactly. So I think he's like really, really good at his prose. So I am completely fine with that review. I'm completely fine with that one, being reviewed. It's the other two. I don't want to start this saying it's the other two I have a problem with, because that sounds like I'm starting shit, and I don't want to start shit. I have nothing against
if we don't want to start shit, how's about we don't, and we just let us
exactly. You can
See, now you understand my point.
Exactly.
Those two are I'm sure fantastic people and stuff. It's just that I have issues with the writing. It has good things and bad things. So I was talking with Ferret and I was like, do you really want me to talk about this? Because I will try to be fair, because I'm not like to sugarcoat things too much, but I don't want to sound like a dick. And it's super easy if you're trying to give constructive criticism to sound like a dick, because you're going to focus on the negative, because you cannot really say a lot about the positive if you're trying to help the author improve. So what if we just let our colleagues?
We've actually talked about that kind of thing in panels in the past that we've done at BronyCon, where when doing constructive criticism, you have to actively make an effort to mention positive things, because if something's good in a story, 9 times out of 10 you don't think about it because it's there and it's part of the story and it's just fits. You have to actually sit down and think, right, did I like this bit? I did. Why did I like that? And you have to actually go over it.
You have to, and it's super easy to. When you see something that is well done, you don't notice. This is something that I tell Mr. Can I just call him Ross? Okay, Mr. Numbers. The person.
Why would you call him Ross when there are so many beautiful nicknames to use?
I know. Like I call him whatever. It's just just call him by his actual name instead of people is talking to me over Discord. Oh, it's just Ferret. What the fuck is Ferret telling me? Just notice Bonbon dates as I recommend this episode. I liked it.
Because you said you didn't like any of the fics except horse voices.
Oof. Let's keep away from that, Ferret, please.
Was I supposed to be actually talking about these fics now, because I haven't read any of them?
Let's just move on.
Sorry, we were down here this week.
We've got reviews for Better Lesser Landscaping by Titanium Dragon, Krastos the Glue Maker by Horse Voice. As we mentioned, we love Horse Voice. And Walden 81 Days by Jaxi, or GAP Jaxi, or whatever you want to call him.
Let's just call him Jaxi. Fuck it. His name is complicated. He will get it. I doubt he will care. He will be like, oh, those fucking assholes, not pronouncing. The entirety of the fandom calls me Aragon instead of Aragon. So, like, who gives a shit?
Aragon?
No.
Yeah, actually, the name is Aragon.
That's why you've got the accent.
The Glue Maker, but I will say, just for the name alone, I love it.
I admit I love it, but that's because I remember the original concept of Krastos the Glue Maker from Present Perfect, because he's a horrible human being.
Oh dear. Also, in the YouTube chat, which we are looking at, and we're looking at various threads and all that sort of thing,
I'm not looking at it.
Says it sounds nicer than it did on the Good Human in Equestria podcast. That's because we're not shit.
I'm not sure which one he's referring to, but he says, is that Obs with the huge beard? Because all I know about is this piece of beard is the crazy beard.
You know what?
Congratulations, Archie, you've become Obs.
I am, in fact, Obs and Obs. Short skirts and explosions, it all fits.
It all fits. It
all works.
Yep.
Oh man, I feel so sorry for the human in Equestria,
right?
Because they are actually cool, but when I went into that podcast, I was actually a little bit nervous. They were not prepared.
No.
They should have asked me.
Plum actually went to them. I was like, he's never going to stop talking, right? And they were like, you joker. We've had talkative guests before. What is the worst that could happen? And then he was like,
pretty much.
You don't get it. This is not.
I've got a screenshot of it, and it's one that you posted in your blog because you're a picture stealing whore. It's a Good Human in Equestria group. I think it was Milk saying, "Hey, why don't we get Numbers and Aragon in the same stream?" And all three of us went, "No."
4 people at the exact same time when they fucking don't.
Yeah, that would have just turned into one gigantic I don't want to describe it on air.
I won't. It will have been like a gigantic. I will have had
It would have been a
number
two-man
sticks
orgy.
so far up my asshole that I will have. If he does this, I'm like a amazing.
No, see, the one I really want to see is when we have Chuck Finley and Aragon on, because they'll just be Era sucking dick the entire time. It'll be adorable.
Chuck Finley is like, I've actually talked with Chuck Finley. Like, I know he's an actual person with flaws.
It's hysterical because he's fangirl.
I know that he's not, like some kind of god or some kind of angel. But I am such a fucking fangirl of that man. I am like best friends with her. I am best friends with his girlfriend, and one of the first things that I did, with Scarlett, was just spend 3 hours just praising her boyfriend, praising, Chuck Finley.
And she probably praised him right back.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, absolutely. She was like, fucking yeah, man, because, they're boyfriend and girlfriend, so that is normal. What is not normal is that I was more into it than the actual girlfriend. This is something that I have told, a lot of people a lot of times. I think that actually say this. So they said this, the past form of the word said this in the previous podcast that I was in. Chuck Finley was friends with Mr. Numbers before meeting me, and Mr. Numbers realized that I was a fan of Chuck Finley, and he was like, hey, why don't you just message Aragon for no actual reason, just to give him a surprise, because he's a fan of yours, so he would be like, oh my god, this is so awesome. And he sent me a message, and I just spent an entire hour, a literal hour, just panicking. Oh my god, what? And the message was like, so, hey, I heard that you're writing a funny fic about, crime. I am the only one who can write funny fics about crime here, like a charming, kind of semi-patronizing, like good old guy message. And after an hour of not knowing what to say, I just reply in all caps, bold letters, italics, I will suck your dick so fucking hard. And I just hit send. And then I went to Mr. Numbers and said, I have committed the biggest mistake of my life. It's like, he was like, okay, I want you to think about this for a second. If you had the chance to send, another first message, I will do exactly the same thing. Gotcha. Like, that is my relationship with Chuck Finley. I actually think that that is super awkward for him to talk to me, because he just pictures that whenever he's typing, I am furiously masturbating in front of the screen. Like, he wouldn't be wrong. I mean,
he
wouldn't be wrong here.
Trust me, he would find that absolutely hilarious and be totally okay with that.
Yeah, he would.
I actually wrote, there is an entire fic of mine called A Gay Old Time that is just a love letter to my favorite fic of film fiction, which is Chuck Finley's Pipsqueak Day Off. It's an entire fic that is just a huge homage to that fic, right? It's the same premise, played, same characters in a different world, a different plot, but it's like the same, Diamond Tiara's birthday party, or like a big party, everybody's in there, the CMC and every foal in Equestria is like 8 up, because it's a couple of years after the show, and they just get drunk and do whatever, and they fuck a lot. They just keep fucking through the entire thing. It's not porn. It's not porn. Yeah, exactly. It's not porn. It's just everything happens off screen. Yeah, it's just a love letter to Chuck.
A lot of like, and what's gonna happen? Oh, okay, that happened. Oh, and now something's exploded and on fire. Okay.
Yeah, it's shit like that. It's like, there's one super long scene in which, for absolutely no reason, Diamond Tiara grabs a bottle of whiskey and just beats the shit out of Spike for like, I think, 2,000 words, and there is no context, there is no need for you to explain.
I am just okay with this.
Yes.
However, it is not a crack fic. This is something that has to be said. It is not a crack fic. It has a lot of depth, a lot of shit going on. It's actually, okay, goodbye. I guess that you were bored. Fuck you too. Whatever. Just, do you want? There are subtle ways, more subtle ways to tell me to shut up. But whatever.
Yeah, but you don't listen to subtle ways.
Yeah, that's the thing.
No, I hate how that's actually. I don't have a reply to that. Yeah, there's shit going on. Anyway, I wrote that entire fic just as a love letter to Chuck Finley, because the entire premise was, what if I write exactly the same fic, but without copying anything, just the premise. And I forgot to tell him. I was like so embarrassed of showing it that I just absolutely forgot to tell Chuck Finley that I had done this. So for 7 months, the fucking fic was in film fiction, and he never knew. He only knew because Mr. Numbers told him, like, after a while, that Aragon wrote you like a 1,500 love letter, right? 1,500 words love letter. He was like, You know, I find that completely believable, but I haven't actually read that. I don't know if I should. It's not safe for work, but you know, why not? Anyway, we were supposed to talk about Fix. I'm trying to stay in topic here. We were supposed to talk about Fix.
Fine.
Otherwise, I'm going to start laughing. Yeah.
We can avoid most of the talk about the Fix or Win review this time because none of the people in this room were actually involved in the reviewing process, unless Ferret happens to know much about them.
Ferret hasn't read them.
I read Bonbon Dates a Seal.
And your opinions on such a story?
Honestly, I think it's a really cute, funny fic. Like, it takes a really dumb premise and actually goes some interesting places with it. So I was really impressed and quite entertained by it. That's why I recommended it in the first place.
Okay, so that is the entire point of the podcast. We can stop now. Bonbon Dates is Seal. It's an actually good story. Don't let the title just be.
Hey, we finished ahead of time today.
We finished ahead of time. We can just do whatever. Okay, I was supposed to. I feel kind of guilty because I have like shaded. Jaxi and Titanium Dragon, and now I'm not giving any context because I have problems with those authors. Well, that's it for today, folks. And then Arconix just fucking he's leaving again. Fucking look at the guy. Anyway, so at least I want to give an explanation. I have nothing against
this. Notice is you don't say these words while Archer's got his headphones on.
Okay. I'm not going to. Okay, so just to wrap this up, if you let me, I have nothing against these two authors. I don't want them to accidentally stumble into this and think that I hate their stories or anything. It's just I actually think that Jaxi has like a super good technical prose, from on a purely technical level. I'm not saying that the rest is shit. I'm just saying like his technical level has to be acknowledged because he's really good. He can take a scene in which apparently nothing happens and make it interesting, and that is like actually a really, really good handle on pacing and dialogue and prose and flowing. He writes in a way that sometimes you don't realize that you're reading. You just absorb the scene, which is the best way to do that. And Titanium Dragon has a knack for having like really good ideas about stories. He can come up with a lot of concepts, and if you look at his library, it's true that every single one of his stories is something that you will feel like reading. I think that the most obvious example is Dying to Get There, which is like, and I think that the cover art was just, Twilight Sparkle, the death at age 16. And it's just, every single time that Twilight teleports, is the whole thing about, she is pulverized and then her atoms, travel at the speed of light and she comes back, So she's technically dead.
That spawned the whole series, didn't it?
Yeah, that was a fan for a while. Was there a competition about it? Or
no,
are you mistaking it for like
everybody really loved the idea and it fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the thing. Not a new idea. I have seen that done before. It's like an old paradox, but he actually took that into figure. Yeah, I can. It's
the thing about Star Trek. Like the real concerning thing about Star Trek is they confirm that everyone dies every time they go into the thing.
There was an SMBC Saturday morning breakfast cereal strip about that. It was hilarious.
Was there?
Yeah.
Yes, I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah,
but it's like there was one episode. There was one episode where the transporter malfunctioned and the person didn't get teleported to where they want to go, but a copy of them got sent there.
A copy of them.
Yeah. It's just that is 100% straight up confirming that the teleporter is literally just a suicide booth with a photo.
I have three. Yeah, I have like 3 or 4 friends who are like so into Star Trek that is actually scary. These people that you mention a line of one random episode and they can tell you which episode of which season of which series, which character at one time. And it's like, have you ever seen, for example, Blue Shift talk about Doctor Who?
Yes.
It's amazing. You go to Blue Shift and you're like, Blue Shift, I'm feeling down. Can you tell me about some kind of shitty shit that Doctor Who has done? And he's like, look, I love Doctor Who, but the whole series was good in spite of its.
It's something only a mother could love.
Exactly. And he's like, here's the scene in which, they actually didn't wait for the paint on the monster to dry before recording. So while he's teaching the Doctor, you can see, like the paint. It's amazing. It's just, you laugh so hard. So I know
and then there's the episode with the brand, what is it? The Licorice All Sorts Man.
Yes. I remember.
That was an actual episode of Doctor Who where they just had the Licorice All Sorts Man.
Yeah.
I'm still impressed that Doctor Who didn't sink to the level that porno did with the Daleks.
What? Sorry,
BBC at one point sold off a bunch of old Dalek models. Some company bought them. I think it was a Russian company, and they made a really, really awful porn flick
Of course.
called Abducted by the Daleks that went live and then immediately got shut down by the BBC. But a friend of mine got a copy, so we did a drinking party and watched it. They literally used like fright masks and they did rubber gloves.
Nice.
Okay, can you send me a copy of these? I'm asking for a friend of mine.
Absolutely. It's hilarious.
Why are we wasting our time doing this podcasting, which is just people talking, when we can just have an extra screening here and just watch
we've got the YouTube app actually, so we can, if it's on YouTube, we can watch it on the stream.
That fucking thing?
I don't think you can.
Instead of having 4 cans speaking, you have an actual can on the television, and there's a Dalek exterminating it, I suppose. Anyway, can I say can't live here? I'm from Spain, so it's not like a big deal. How many of you are like Englishmen? I don't remember. I know Plum
you
is.
can't say that in America. We're not in America, so.
I'm not English.
Fucking
so.
perfect.
No, he's
fucking
Scottish.
perfect. No, Plum is here. Plum is here.
It's like it's punctuation for him.
Yeah,
exactly. It's like, yeah, but we can't say bloody apparently because that is like offensive or something. Like, oh, God save the Queen. What are you saying? You're barbarian. I cannot make a British accent.
No,
just
the only offensive word you can say to us is French.
Dude, I'm from Spain. I hate the French.
Are you French?
No.
Like, I know French classmates of mine, like French people, and like I have to bite my tongue so hard when I'm talking to them because like constantly French jokes are coming to my brain. Like I cannot say any of the things that I'm thinking of because I'm always super offended because it's like, yeah, so I have a boyfriend, and something French accent on Eiffel Tower, and I'm like you have a boyfriend. Oh, you have a boyfriend. That is incredible. I was under the impression that, and then I shut up. And then somebody's like, you were under the impression of what? And I was like, well, I was going to say something like, that half of the French men are gay and the other half don't like women. But that is like a highly racist thing to say. So
that's just Parisians.
That's just Parisians.
Yeah. I have French stereotypes.
No, it's just the meme, I'm from Spain, so we're supposed to hate the French, but they're okay, I'm pretty sure. Though, if electricity, there's if electricity always follows the path of least resistance, how come, all lightning doesn't fall on the Eiffel Tower? Comments like this I always make with my brother, but you can really make them in public, so I'm just... Apparently, you're podcasting that fuck it. I'm pretty sure that there will be no consequences for this. Like half of my followers are French. I'm pretty sure nobody will give a shit.
Nobody watching this stream is French.
Exactly.
In the meanwhile, in the chat, Jake is yelling
being very American
about Harbour Tea and redcoats.
And Mr. Numbers has just turned up. He says, I turn in just in time. He's going to bed apparently. Just to see Aragorn say something horribly racist. The odds of this, I'm guessing, is 100%.
Mr. Numbers has no right to say anything like this because this is something that's happened to him, and he blames me for it. He's so used to making horribly dark jokes and horribly racist, comments. Ironically, of course, we're not racist. Of course. Okay? He's racist against the Australians, for example. So it's not like he's racist against. Whatever. He's like, fucking British people. And it's like, you can insult them. Nobody gives a shit. Fucking Americans.
We cry on the internet.
And he's so used to talking with me about that once he met a Spanish guy in a bus, while just going there, he was, in public transportation, a Spanish guy, and he was like, oh, how's it? Oh, you're from Spain? Yeah, I can recognize your accent. Yeah, my best friend is from Spain. And then he just got, switched on the Aragon mode, and he started doing like horribly dark shit, like non-stop for 15 minutes. And then at one point he realized that the other guy was either puking or crying, and he was like, not all of you are like that. Sorry. So he's been racist in public, so you can't really blame me for the
Numbers is apparently saying that the only reason he does all this shit is because you tell him to, Era.
Yeah.
Now you see the thing.
And now he's saying that he still feels bad about how he treated that guy.
What I want to know is if you told him to
This is something that happened. This is not me making a joke. This actually he came to me mortified. Dude, I have done the most horrible thing. Like, why would you, if I see somebody speaking to me in English, I don't immediately think, oh, good, it's purple prose, and start having sex with him, right? That is not how my brain works. So how the fuck does yours?
Purple Prose is currently watching the stream, Aragon.
I know, that's why I said that. We all know that, Mr. Numbers is the guy that people ship me with. We were actually going to make...
Yeah, so what you're saying is Pear is just your bit on the side.
Yeah, we were actually going to make a joke.
Sorry, Pear.
Ross and I.
We love you,
about...
Pear.
Yeah, Perry's nice. Perry's super cool. He's trying to come back to fiction, and I give this motherfucker and Kitsune Risu too. But those are two friends of mine who are like criminally underrated. Kitsune Risu and Purple Prose.
I like that Pear's not dead because he just turned up out of the blue like 3 days ago.
I brought him in. I brought him in.
I was kind of shocked that Kitsu wasn't dead because Aragon mentioned talking to him the other day. It was like, holy shit, he's actually alive.
I never stopped talking to him. I stopped talking to Per for like a while because I went away from Skype and he didn't come to Discord, the fucking idiot. But eventually he came back, because a third friend of mine was like, okay, Selby, in fact, the German guy, he was like, why aren't we all in Discord? We're all friends with each other. Why are we like dispersed between many programs? Like, some of them are like Hangouts, some of them are in Skype. So we would just went to Discord. And upon seeing me, I was like, there's like a FilmFic Discord channel now. He was like, why not? And he just joined back in because he's sort of mixed in fiction, apparently. Not really, kind of, maybe. I mean, fiction is like a weird website because it has like really cool people and also like a bazillion idiots, right? If you're seeing this, you're not an idiot and I love you, okay?
Numbers is now saying there is now a tour bus of Europeans that think I'm a Nazi because I repeated a joke Aragon told me that Spanish people love.
Nice.
Oh dear, I think I can.
I feel like the first mistake was he listened to you.
Yeah.
I think it says a lot that I actually don't know which joke he's talking about because I have so many that I am not going to say here. The first thing we did when we became friends, Ross and I, was to start like a dark joke competition. Let's see who says the most horrible thing. And after I think a couple of days, I don't know. I don't remember who won. I think we both lost. But it was like after that, I remember just going to my sister and being like, "Man, I remember just telling the thing. I think the darkest joke I said was like, dude, what is the first thing you have to put like a bro voice to do this, because otherwise I have a beer and shit again. Dude, what is the first thing you do after eating a perfectly smooth pussy? You put her back in the crib." And my sister stopped talking to me for like 2 days. She just said, "You do not joke about that," and she just walked away. And I was like, "Whoa."
Well then,
I guess I should be friends with this motherfucker then, if he's able to.
It's really terrible
my
because as
sister
soon as
by
you started
proxy.
telling that joke, I knew how it ended and went, that's not the worst thing I've ever heard.
That's like, I mean, the moment you say you're going to say a horrible joke, people just immediately jump to, okay, pedophilia, because it's like the most horrible thing you can think of. Yeah. But the thing is saying this out of the blue, with no context. Yeah. You're talking about how your nephew was born and she's so beautiful and she reminds you of the miracle of life, and you go, hey, you know what, Thomas Edison and this, and the baby that I just buried in my backyard having, what's the difference between the baby that I just buried into my backyard and Thomas Edison? Thomas Edison died a virgin. If you say that out of the blue, they get super angry at you. But if you are just, telegraphing the fact that you're going to say something horrible, they go, okay, but they immediately think the most horrible thing you can say. So Ross is a horrible person. There's another friend of mine.
I've not heard the word spike yet. Because it's like, put it back in.
Is Spike as in the dragon? Wait, is Spike as in the dragon, or is in the
literal
the large metal pointy thing that you jam a baby onto when you're finished with it?
Oh, the spike. Anyway, okay, let's stop talking about this because we're starting to sound like like edgy 14 years old. Oh yeah, I'm going to make a joke about, get this, a dead baby, and it's like, whoa, careful with that edge, motherfucker. You're starting to sound like Reggie Dar here. You don't want to sound like Reggie Dar.
I feel like our edgy 14-year-old, you've got us covered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh man, I think that
what
a
was
lot
it
of
in the
my
fanfic
I
chat
just
that you thought how old you were?
What was this?
oh my fucking god! Every single
have I
time that
missed?
They were
No,
having
every
a
single time
beard
that I
off in the
talk about-
fanfic channel apparently, and Aragon posted a photo
Yeah.
of himself, and they started guessing how old they thought he was, and the number
Oh,
started at
wow.
what 20 something and just kept dropping.
Yeah, it was like at one point somebody said 12 and they were like completely for real. I have to say,
Yeah.
if you look at me right now, I do think that I don't look or sound like I'm 12. Please tell me I don't, because
No, you
otherwise
don't.
I
well, you
might
definitely
start
don't
crying.
sound like you're 12. No.
But I was like doing
a
something like
12-year-old
this.
doesn't have
Something-
large enough lungs to sustain the amount of word put that
Oh, I don't know.
Exactly.
You've not met my nephew.
Pretty much.
He's 10,
Oh my god.
and he's louder than this. And he
Yeah.
can talk
Yeah.
for longer
Oh,
than this.
yeah.
That said,
My father-
his mother is from Paraguay, which is basically Spain, but in South America and poorer.
Yeah.
Poorer. Oh boy.
This
Oh,
is Spain,
boy.
you know, with dirtier people. So,
Something like
kind of the
that.
same. I mean, maybe there's something in the Spanish language.
Possibly.
I'm drinking beer. Maybe there's something in the Spanish language that makes you speak faster than usual. I don't know. I actually
I think
talk slightly
that-
faster. in
I thought-
Spanish.
thought you were
When you
gonna
spend half
say-
the day sleeping, you have to get all the
Yeah.
talking done when you're finished.
I actually
I
suffer,
thought-
I actually suffer from insomnia, like, because
When
because
we
I
were
never
talking,
shut up.
when you were talking about Paraguay being dirty people, and you started like talking about maybe there's something to do with the Spanish language, like, oh boy, what percentage of the world's population are we going to offend with this one?
Yeah,
Every
really.
single one of them. I mean, okay,
least-
just
at least
my
15.
existence alone is enough to like the entire southern half of Europe is already offended just by my existence, just by my birth. So don't worry, we can get the whole rest covered before this ends. Anyway,
Poland is very
we
upset.
were supposed to, yeah. I want to speak
I'm
about.
wondering how old you actually are, because the current guess is 15.
Yeah, alternate prime. Honestly,
I'm going to guess
15.
19.
I am, have you seen Mr. Numbers? Every single one of you. I am
Yes.
actually
Yes.
older.
Numbers.
I am
He
actually
looks better to
older
suit than you
him.
do.
He looks
Oh.
yes.
Fuck you, Paul.
Have you
Like,
seen the
no.
pictures?
Now,
yeah,
you see, the
I
thing is,
hate that. I hate that because I posted that blog as a joke because it's funny.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can recognize that, and I remember thinking that my friends are also friends with Ross, so I got that they were going to mess with me. Like you look like a girl because I was I actually did look horrible in that suit, but I thought that they were going to pick on Ross too because there's a photo of him, and every single one was like, "You look like a girl." Man, Ross has like no rights to look that good in a suit. Yeah. Anyway, dude, Aragon, you're horrible. I was like, okay, can we like pick on him too because he was also in the blog? No.
Actually,
won.
my favorite
He
thing
won
about that
that
blog
argument.
was that you rewrote
worst-
most of his jokes to be funnier, and everyone goes, "Oh man, he totally insulted you so hard." I'm like, you guys do know.
Yeah, don't
he
break
wrote those
kayfabe.
jokes.
Don't just reveal the secrets of the craft in public.
But it's so much more entertaining. Lucky
Okay,
Ross
we're
says
breaking
they don't
kayfabe
care
now.
how old
We're
you are,
breaking
they just want to
kayfabe.
know if you're legal.
Can I just
that blog
point
actually
out
happened. Yeah.
the last couple of pictures of you in that suit actually look pretty good. You had the
Yeah, of course.
the popped collar
Yeah,
thing
you
going
fucking-
on. It kind of suits
And he
you.
looks like a gay 80s vampire at a rave.
Well,
Yeah,
you
the
know,
gay-
I mean that's
That's a good look for Aragon.
I think there is
style.
one comment. There are two comments in that blog that I want to talk about. The first one is the one that hurt me the most, and it was Horizon because he was. You can feel that he was trying to be nice because that's Horizon for you.
Yes.
And he was like, and his comment, and him trying because some people were
trying
like,
to fit in.
some people were picking on me, oh, you look horrible, and that was nice. But Horizon was like, you are so brave. for sharing this." And I was like, that is the most
He was after your
devastating thing you can tell me. You are so brave. You must be so courageous to share such an incredibly embarrassing moment with all of us. And I was like, well, thank you for. I'm just going to cry there if you. But there was another comment that I love, which is a guy who I think is a time traveler from the 1920s, who's like, oh, bother. Why should I always, I should refrain myself before speaking in matters in which I might be of some help. And it's just like a super long paragraph of just genuinely good advice about how to wear a suit. And I don't understand half of the words he say because he's so posh. And I was like, I am falling in love with this person right now. Just look at the blog at one point and you'll see it. It's like in the last page or something. I think his avatar has like 30 hoops jumping on the cloud, something like that.
Yes.
Probably. Yeah, that was amazing. So yeah, that vlog. I'm not wearing the suit, by the way. Like before any of the people in this chat asked me, by the way.
They've already asked.
I know. Yeah, I already said I'm not going to wear the suit.
Several
I'm not going
times.
to wear the suit in the podcast because I don't have it with me. I will wear it, but it's like in Barcelona right now. I'm in Aragon. You know, not in myself in the place. I am also in myself because that is how bodies work. But like my name comes from the place that I'm in, right? And I'm like at my father's right now. In fact, my father knows that, you know, when I interview a podcast, I just call it an interview because he's like 60 years old. He has no fucking idea what a podcast is, right? So I just say, I'm going to get interview, whatever. And I was like, I'm going to get interview because, you know, I won that contest. And he was like, oh, the one that you like smashed. And I I actually won. I wasn't expecting that. And he's like, yeah, it wasn't about horses, right? And I can just feel the disappointment in his eyes. And I go, no, Dad, it was. I wrote about humans. Okay, what was the story about? Adventure. Think Indiana Jones. Okay, yeah, I can take that. Fucking Christ, I feel that I lost him for a second. And like he gave me permission, you know, I'm like, okay, it's going to be 2 a.m, maybe 3, and I'll just be yelling downstairs right behind your room. He's like, please just don't yell too hard. I know that, you know, you're going to yell anyway. Just don't yell at the top of your lungs because you're unable to speak like a normal fucking human being. I know, I am your father. I already gave up on you. So can you please at least make sure that the neighbors don't wake up? My neighbors have like 2 babies and they fucking hate me because I keep waking them up because I have like, like I remember, you know, I have an ocarina with me, right? Like my uncle brought me an ocarina. And I remember when I got that ocarina, I was like, oh, this is so fun to play. It's super easy to play. It's like a recorder. You pick it up and in 3 seconds you can play it. And like I woke up that baby with the fucking ocarina so many times. Holy shit. They don't wave at me when I'm walking the, you know, when they see me on the street, they don't look at me. They just sort of look the other way. Like they fucking hate me so much. And once they actually, you know, stick their head out of the can you please shut the fuck up? Because I was yelling at a bird. It was like a long story, but long story short, there was a bird who wouldn't let me sleep. So I just yelled at it because this is my life. These are the choices that I make. And, you know, I was yelling at the bird. The neighbor was yelling at me. My father was yelling at the neighbor. The bird was yelling at the tree, whatever. It was like a horrible experience for absolutely everybody. Horrible night. Holy shit. So yeah, I don't live in this house. I only come to visit because, you know, I don't get along with the people that live near me. It's horrible. Anyway, the contest. We should speak about the contest because, you know, fan of most everything is like super insecure. And he was like, you know, I might appear. No, he is like, I'm not insulting him, for fuck's sake. Half of the people in this room and every single person in that chat, you know, in the YouTube section, are like horribly insecure. They just crave that validation.
Half is probably an understatement in this room.
Yeah, pretty much. Every single one of them. Because that is what writing is about.
Someone with such an amazing mustache be insecure.
Thank you, but I think that, you know, I trimmed it a little bit too hard and you can actually see it. You know, I am slightly insecure about my body hair because I have none. So that is like, yeah. No, but fan of most everything, actually. I'm trying not to tweet because, you know, last podcast, I actually watched it after the recording and I never stopped moving. And I never realized how annoying I am because I just never stop moving. I'm constantly doing shit like this, you know, playing with my
hair. Is the guy with the fantastic beard? Is that him?
No, Tommy has the amazing mustache with like the curls.
It's like this thing that goes sort of like across and curls.
Oh yes, I remember.
Yeah. He's like
I cannot
the
picture him.
Ringmaster mustache, but he's not evil.
I cannot picture a fan of most everything as a human being. I picture him as his avatar. I cannot imagine a human being being him.
Yeah. Here's the thing, like I think basically everyone for me. Like I really struggle to picture people as actual human beings until I meet them in person at like BronyCon or something like that. And oh my god, bad horse isn't literally a horse with a top hat. It's actually a dude in a gimp suit. Okay.
Don't break my dreams. Don't ruin my dreams.
He was a dude in a gimp suit.
Yes, I know. You've mentioned this one several times. You've even got pictures.
I've got pictures.
He was gonna wear it last year.
I don't want to see
so many pictures.
A lot of people actually, you know, we were talking about purple pros.
Hang on, Ross has another.
He looks exactly like me. He looks exactly like me. Yeah.
Ross goes, don't get Aragon to shave that mustache. It tickles.
Yeah.
So you'd like to know?
I hate how like everybody immediately assumes that I'm the bottom in that relationship, and I cannot deny it because have you
Even you assume you're the bottom in that relationship.
Hang on. I want to point out that your immediate reaction to meeting Chuck Finley was, "I will suck your dick."
Yeah.
So hard.
Yeah.
I am aware of my own body. Thank you, Betty. I am self-aware enough to realize that
you
every single one of my friendships is based on the idea.
I get the feeling he is
a couple, I would bottom.
Immensely self-aware. Yeah, he's aware of himself and no one else.
That he has to distract himself by constantly talking. Otherwise, he just spirals into this existential crisis of constant self-awareness.
I cannot look at the mirror without crying. Yeah, I made a hilarious joke that I think nobody listened to because you were busy interrupting my interruption, which I find incredibly rude.
I'm sorry we're interrupting you, Aragon. I mean, if you were
we're interrupting interruptions. I have to interrupt your interruption of my interruption of your interruption.
Yeah, it's a necessity to interrupt.
We have to go deeper.
It's kind of horrible how every single one of my friendships is based on the known fact and spoken truth that if we were to be in a relationship, I would be the bottom. This is true with Ferret. If I were Ferret's boyfriend, I would bottom. I just know that, If I were fucking Ferret.
To be fair, my boyfriend's a pretty amazing Australian.
Yeah, I suppose.
I would just like
he's
to
a fucking quantum physicist, for God's sake.
Cool.
I would just like to point out that it takes a tremendous amount of confidence to admit that sort of thing. It's like you have to be really confident in yourself.
You are so brave. We admire the strength that your amazingly big amount of weaknesses bring to you. Yeah, at one point it's either crying or laughing at this, and I'm not going to cry all the time, but you have to be self-aware. As I said, I'm actually
I try to be nice.
Yeah, pretty much. I try to be nice. Like oh god.
But you're the
I remember
gracing us with your presence.
There is a thing right on the internet. And when when people know me, because I am constantly talking and posting stories and blogging, whatever, I can make any jokes because people just it's a character probably, right? So he can do whatever, they don't get worried. But in real life, I have found that there is a limit to the things that you can say. One of my favorite teachers, one that I like because he writes his exams and his notes and whatever in this kind of semi-comedic style. So he lets us, he lets me write the jokes into the essays and into the exams.
So not the one who was trying to seduce you at one point?
No, not that one.
Okay.
That one went away sadly.
Tragic.
Yeah. No, so it's easier for me to write an exam if I can just weave in jokes, right? So whenever I talk to him, I just, I tell, oh, that is such a cute doll. Holy shit, what is that from?
No sense of humor.
That is so cute.
It's the EQG minis.
Oh, my back. There we go.
Yeah, I know. We were wondering why you're making so much goddamn noise.
It's such a great situation. Did you ever think about this? Oh yeah, with two grown-ass man, one teenage girl, and Ferret. Speaking about in a podcast that is technically, thematically about My Little Pony. Holy fucking Christ. Well, I can actually say that out loud because my father will hear it. And even though he doesn't understand English, the words My Little Pony are engraved in his mind. If he goes to hell, that will be the word that he's repeating in his ear every single second. Horrible. We were talking about something. I missed it. I was making a point about something and I forgot. I absolutely forgot.
We're talking about a teacher
writing jokes into things.
Oh yeah, the teacher. So whenever I talk to him, I can just make jokes. So he likes to do interviews with the students. I'm his favorite student. Apparently, he's always quoting me in class. It's amazing. And I went to his the interview, and it was well, Aragon, tell me a little about yourself. What is your purpose in life? What do you want to do when you get out? And I didn't even think about it. I just said, I fear death only slightly more than I hate my life. So I'm assuming that when I'm 35 years old, they will find me floating, head down into a river with a €5 bill stuck into my nose. So I don't really have plans for the future. He did not get that was a joke.
I could totally see you in a swimming pool.
Why €5?
because it's the smaller bill. You know, the joke here is that I'm so fucking poor that I have to use the shittiest bill that we have.
Okay,
It has many layers. It has many layers, right?
Yeah, it's a very convoluted joke.
You know, it's also stuck because I'm so bad at this that I didn't actually do it right. I just, no, fuck. I actually might have killed myself with the bill. I don't even have drugs in me. I just shit at swimming and at taking coke. So it's like, oh shit! I don't even fall into the water. I just don't know how to swim, so I just slowly die in the most pathetic of ways. And why are we talking about this? Why did you let me
more
talk
pathetic
about
method, but it probably involved being beaten up by kindergartners.
I mean,
Or maybe preschoolers.
In
Like toddlers who haven't even completely mastered fine motor control.
like
They're the most dangerous.
I cannot fight.
Don't know their own
I cannot fight at all. But I've always had one dream, and that is to fight like a couple of 5-year-olds.
Okay, so
and at one point, picking one of them, I'll be like, and then throwing him against the other 5 years old because I want to see that happening.
Aragon, I just want to point out that in response to you talking about face down in the river with a €5 note, someone posted in the chat, never stop following your dreams.
That was lucky.
Now that we know what your dreams are that you intend to follow, we can definitely say, never stop following your dreams.
Yeah, I like Ross's comment
as
as well of the Aragon quote, I'm doing law because I hate myself and I hate the entire world, and this is the most efficient way to punish both at the same time.
I've also said that a lot of times. Yeah, this is the easiest way to punish every single person on Earth. Yeah, that other person is Lucky Roll.
Yes, and Lucky Roll is
Mr. Number. Yeah, him, Mr. Number. You know Lucky Roll? Nobody knows Lucky Roll. I know Lucky Roll.
Everybody. I am the ferret, bitch.
No, you're ferret. He was, in my opinion, in my highly objective and right opinion, and he's never going to let me hear the end of this, so fuck it. He's a really, really funny author. He was one of the funniest comedy authors on the site, but he's a lazy piece of shit. He's the laziest person I've ever met. He's like,
basically you're saying I need to go and start harassing him to write?
No, he will never write. He doesn't write. He doesn't write because he can't be asked to do anything.
Well,
so he hasn't been. He hasn't been.
I have a satisfying life.
He doesn't. He really doesn't. He's like one of his high school mates. One of his high school mates is one of his teachers in college, which is the greatest level of failure. I like Lucky Roll. Oh, I have that exact figurine, Arconix. That exact figurine. Only not here. Otherwise, I would, bring it here. There's a blog about me where I lose my fucking mind while trying to blog about the figurine, and you can see photos of it. Whatever. Yeah, no. Lucky Roll is like whenever I'm like a sad, pathetic, bitter son of a bitch, but Lucky Roll always manages to one-up me. Like, he's incredible. He's like the saddest person I've ever met. Amazing. He was really, really funny. He was like super funny. I met him because he became a fan of mine. I never let him forget this. Every single one of my friends was a fan of mine before being friends.
Is this the Lucky Roll who's been offline on FinFic for 135 weeks?
Yeah, exactly.
He reads all my right now, correcting you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's one of my best friends. I have been in his house. I have kissed his mother. I have suffered diarrhea with him. So like we're super close. It's just we went
levels of friendship. We
went to Hungary.
I have had diarrhea with him.
We went to Hungary. We went to Hungary for a week. Selby, Lucky Roll, and I have this thing where 1 week or 10 days a year we go to we get together. Either they both come to my house, or I go to Lucky's, and Selby goes to we meet together in one of the 3 countries because he's Hungarian. I remember going to Hungary and like we didn't eat a single Hungarian thing in 10 days. We just ate shit like McDonald's and whatever. It's like, I would like to eat something traditional for once. So his mother, on the second to the last day or something, made goulash, which is the most Hungarian thing you can eat.
Yep.
Yeah,
it was delicious, and we couldn't get out of the house for the next 30 hours because we couldn't stop shitting. And it was like, Lucky, I love your mother, but it was like can I describe the shit? Is this like gross humor, or
don't go into too much detail?
This kind of liquid black stuff,
another drink.
I feel like I'm shitting fire. It was horrible. So we're really close. Is what I mean. We're really, really close. Also, we were supposed to talk about the contest.
Plum's
but I don't think any of us expected to. We know better.
No. I'm going to talk about the contest because I feel that is the excuse for which I am here. Okay, no, we both know that, I'm here because you couldn't find anybody else, So I was like,
no, you're here because you're here.
Shit, he figured it out.
There's only going to be
Talk about the
people.
contest, Aragon.
Because
Tell us about the
whenever,
contest.
like when, sorry? Oh yeah, the contest.
Just plum
So,
singing.
You can diverge afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. Lucky Roll and Ferret and Scarlet and Numbers all of them can tell you that I wrote that story. And the process of writing it is kind of cool too, but let's talk about the contest. I wrote the story with the full knowledge that it would be a horrible flop, right? I was like, this is going to get 3 comments. One of them will be from my mom, who can't actually read English, and she will be like, remember to buy coffee on your way home. And I will be like, thanks, mom. That will be the first 2 comments. The third one will be Lucky Roll calling me a faggot. Because nobody's going to give a shit, but I'm just going to have fun. And I remember just posting it and be like, this is going to flop so hard. This is going to be a huge failure. And Lucky Roll, who fucking hates me, was like, you say that every single time, you shut the fuck up, you always say that. And then, the story actually did pretty well. I remember reading about the competition, because Ferret pimped the contest out. She was like, hey,
because basically Foamy made the mistake of going, I don't think anyone's going to enter my contest. And I'm sorry, but you don't make challenges like that to me.
Exactly. And I remember joining. And there were like 2 people who had joined. And it was like, I don't know, Brony Fucker 69 and Fluttershy has big tits. Like this kind of name. I think now, some people are going to go to the contest, look at when I posted that I wanted to participate, and they're going to be, actually, Skywriter, signed on before you did. So you're insulting him. Like, no, I don't remember who was in. I remember reading through the contestants and being like, yeah, I can. I'm not sure that I can win this, but it's like, I'm a big fish in a small pond, right? Maybe there's like another big fish, but like
sure you are.
Mm-hmm.
And then
How many followers do you have again?
I was like,
How many views do your stories get?
And I was like, yeah, I was being sarcastic, right? And I was like, yeah, I can manage here. And then I went away after signing up. And then the very next day, I go in, and there are like 45 fucking people, joining the contest. And there's people, this is people like Book Player, like Wanderer D, fucking Horizon, fucking. I'm surprised that Colding Gardes wasn't here, because fucking Ghost of Heraclitus came out of the fucking woodwork to join the contest for some reason. He never posted anything. He got to participate. I was like, fuck you, I'm Jack Finley. And I was like, I cannot win against Jack Finley, right? Like it's impossible. Whatever you do, he's going to do it better. It was fucking horrible. And then I actually won, because most of the heavyweights either couldn't participate or couldn't bring their A game due to other reasons. So I actually don't think that I would have won if the contest had happened as people think it should have happened. But it was still an experience. I was completely sure I was going to.
The problem is that you worked so goddamn hard on that story, you don't realize how good it actually is.
The thing is,
I do want to quickly bring to light 2 comments from Ross. The first is timing how long it takes you to disappear down a tangent. You managed 5 seconds. And the second is, God, I want to wedgie him so hard right now because I was there for all of this.
Yeah.
And Lucky Roll adds no homo, though.
Yeah.
Lucky Roll is saying, last time one of his stories flopped, he came to me crying because his story was only featured for 2 days. And 2 for flinching is saying, I remember that. And I hate
but flinching just happens to be Ferret, by the way.
Hi.
Oh, that's Ferret. I love you. Like, so the thing is, okay, I'm going to sound like an asshole because
You are.
Let's be completely honest. I am,
Yeah, because you haven't been sounding like one for a large chunk of the podcast. Go ahead.
Oh boy, let's talk about
I was completely
again.
I was sure that this story would flop because it was about Daring Do, right? And last time I wrote a story about Daring Do, I consider it a flop because it didn't get immediately featured, because that is my standard nowadays. And Lucky Roll has never been featured, so he hates me when I say this. But when you have 1,000, I'm not saying that I'm better than somebody who has 12 followers. Not at all. I'm probably worse. Have you read my shit? It's horrible. But when you have so many followers, it's kind of easy to get featured, right? This is like a snake.
Self-perpetuating cycle.
Thank you. I couldn't think of the words. I'm Spanish, people. This is not my first language. In case that the accent didn't show it. I
figured it was more the fact you learned from cartoons.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I did. And for heavy metal songs too. I was big into Manowar when I was a kid, and I remember being like in English class, and like we were reading some, I don't know, fucking the cow who jumped over the moon. I was like, what does hail and kill mean? And then she was like, where exactly in this poem for little kids does it say the word hail and kill? No, this is just, a question I have brought from home. Okay, why do you want to know this? Because of a friend, I don't want to hail and kill anybody. Actually, hail is like, for hail Hitler or whatever. But for the longest time, I thought it was like hail, like, the thing that falls from the sky. I was so confused by that song. Holy shit. Yeah, the ice
Roll has the comment, I don't hate him because I have never been featured. I hate him because, really, have you met him?
Oh.
Yeah. I came into his house. I kissed his mother. I ate his food. And then, I insulted him in public in a podcast that a lot of people have seen. Yeah, and then I shat all over the place, man. I'm talking about this annual tradition that we have, Lucky Rosalie and I. And there's another tradition that is not official, but every single time that we meet, we break something.
Nice.
Apparently, like.
Okay,
3
so first
seconds.
you broke a toilet. What were the other things you broke?
Yeah, exactly. 3 seconds into walking into Selby's house, the first thing I did after kissing his mother was to break his toilet. Because, like, I remember going, from the plane and everything. I was like, I need to go to the toilet. Like, and I go, oh, yeah, go to the one right next to the main door. Because it has, like a urinal, like in the bar. So you can, if you need to go number...
He has a urinal in his house?
Yeah. It's weird, right? Like you can piss in there
unusual.
instead of using the actual toilet. It was pretty funny. I was like, yeah, you can go in there. It saves water. And I was like, oh, that is weird. That is like a weird thing to have in your house. But I guess this is Germany. We're all crazy here. How wacky,
It's a efficient thing.
Like being efficient, killing the Jews. Those Germans. So. That is such a low tier joke.
I was going to say that's kind of low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
That's low-hanging fruit. I mean, the Germans are low-hanging fruit, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Have you met them?
Wow.
It's amazing. You think, I'm getting sidetracked inside of my own sidetracking. So
Yes, you are.
One story, please.
We have to go deeper.
And I was like, that's what she said, because I have small penis, And I was, whatever. I just went to
Anyway, talking about breaking shit at Selby.
the toilet. And then we're like, okay, you can just piss in there. Just don't throw anything solid, because it's only designed for liquids. And I was like, got you, buddy. Don't worry. I am not that stupid. 3 seconds later, after I'm, wiping my hands and just throwing the toilet paper in there, I'm like, it's probably got nothing is going to happen. And I pressed the button and it started making like a blah 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 noise. And then we're like, and it started like making a weird noise. And after 30 seconds, it stopped. So I just walked away. And I was
just want to point out
that was an
3 seconds,
an interesting experience.
That 3 seconds of you pausing was the single longest pause in this entire stream so far.
I am trying to not.
And that's what
people
matters.
and shit. But so they actually have to call the plumber and a lot of shit. They had to spend like a shit ton of money and like fixing that. I lied and I said that I have no idea what happened, because the mother came to us like the next day. Sorry, but the toilet is not working. Like, did any of you guys? We're not going to get angry, but did any of you guys throw something? And I was like, Lucky, did you throw something into the urinal? How can you be so thoughtless? We're guests in here, and this is how you repay them? For shame, dude, for shame. And then I just walk away because I'm a huge asshole. So, And then they went in my house and they just broke a bed. I'm going to let you think how they did that. It was them, not me. And then we went inside his house. Yeah, and then we went in Lucky's house and we broke another bed. This time it was with me. Whatever, we know the joke. We know how it goes. I'm not going to deny anything. I'm not going to say yes to anything. What were we talking about? The contest. So yeah, the contest was interesting. The contest was interesting because
everything's contest.
Yeah.
I have like an actual. Yeah, I kind of don't know how to speak about this. Do I talk about the contest? Do I talk about my story?
Go for it.
Okay, yeah, my story. I have a theory that is going to make me sound like a pedantic idiot. that the reason why I was so scared, because whenever I'm scared of the story, right, or a joke, really, or a paragraph, it's because it's either my worst or my best. Because it's when I take a risk, right? And this story was interesting because it was one of the first stories I've written, if not the first, in which the concept is not really that original. Because the way I see, there are two ways to write a good story. Either you kill the concept or you kill the execution. The writing. You kill the writing.
You were fine.
Yes.
Yeah, you were right.
Right. So if you have a really good concept and a adequate prose, passable prose, you can make the story work. If you are good enough to, make sure that the prose is not that bad that people realize it, it's just adequate. It's forgettable, but it's, it's interesting. It's easy to read. Then the story can be good if you have a good enough concept, If you have a really good execution, you can make pretty much anything work. Right? The prose, the writing. So usually I work by concept alone. I write jokes and shit, but the stories are about something original or something that hasn't been done yet. Octavia Dead in Discord, for example. And then I just pull out whatever execution I can pull out from my ass, and that's it. I post it, oh, this is so wacky, and then it gets featured, and then I get pussy and whatever. But this story is not like that. This story has a really standard plot, actually. It's easy to see where it's coming from, and it's just adventure. It's pulp. It's daring do fighting minotaurs, pairing them with a baby. Okay, it has some weird shit, but the concept is really easy to get. It's not original. It's a thing that has been done. So to make it work, I needed to actually do a good execution, right? Why are you laughing? Are you laughing about something that I said, or about something that somebody said on the chat? Because at this point, I think that the chat is the best thing. Yeah, see?
Chat goes, do units of time small enough to measure such fleeting instants even exist?
Is Aragon, I like the comment that is just, is Aragon ever talking about anything ever? I remember going to the Good Human in Equestria podcast and reading the chat, and the chat was full of people who were like, so what question is he answering now? And the people from the podcast, the people who were talking to me were reply, I have no fucking idea. I've been lost for the last 2 days. I'm just enjoying the cascade of words. It's just background noise in my head, just whatever, None of my friends are listening anymore. I can just tell you that neither Lucky Roll nor Ross are listening because they know what I'm talking about. See, they're not in the chat, and they're going to come tomorrow to me and be like, it was not your best. It was actually kind of boring. And I'll be like, thank you. The best part was when, you were making fun of yourself with the Horizon comment because you are so brave to talk about this. Fucking horrible. Anyway, so yeah. Actually, I made a comment in that blog after I won the contest. I still haven't interiorized that I won the contest, by the way. I'm still like, yeah, it was probably a mistake. Aquaman should have won. Yeah, I remember going to Ferret, super, because I read Aquaman's story and it was really good. It was a really good execution, a really standard idea, a really obvious payoff, a really predictable ending. And I'm realizing as I speak that this is sounding like a bad story. It isn't, because the prose is good enough and the execution is good enough to make it work. And you don't realize that it's such an obvious story. You think, I wonder where this is going. No, you know where it's going. If you just stop and think for a second, but you don't stop because it's so good, right? That is what a good story is. And I remember reading it and being super deeper, there is no fucking way I'm winning this. I knew that already, but there's no fucking way I'm winning this. And I went to Ferret and I was like, Ferret, have you read Aquaman's story? It's amazing. There is no way I'm winning. And she was like, yeah, you're losing.
Actually, I believe my response was, I edited it.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, you were like, yeah, I edited
also,
it. I know
think
you are
have
losing.
A chance of winning, and I will bet you a story commission that you win.
Yeah, and you won, actually.
Yep. But you're right, my face.
Because I won. That was weird. Yeah.
I wonder what that thing's going to be about now.
The thing is, I suppose. Man, the thing is actually close to getting one. Yeah, she just through whatever. I don't know what I'm going to write in. I'm busy with commissions. And oh my god, I'm so bad with commissions. Somebody sends me a message being like, okay, I'm going to pay you this for 12,000 words. Gotcha. And 50,000 words later, I come back with There was a little problem with the story. It just sort of blew up. You know, you don't have to pay me extra, and it takes me like 6 months to write a story that I said would take me a week. It's horrible to do commissions, really. I don't want. Well, I know what I'm doing it because I like the money and I'm a sellout, you know. But like that aside, it's super stressing actually. Like all the props to people who can do this on a constant basis because it's fucking crazy. And let's not talk about the people who do porn. By the way, Mr. Numbers does porn now. Let us all. Yeah, he does. He does.
I he did an April 1st post about it and even made money off the commission. And hit the feature box with his first story.
He, you know, in the film fiction chat, there's like a lot of cool people and stuff, but you know, there is this. Ross and I are always there, being assholes together, being in love and shit, you know, sucking each other's dick like there's no tomorrow. Just usual Saturday.
Yeah, this is
Plum is a mod in there, and LXXIX I think is there too, so he can say that. And there is this like Mr. Numbers gives advice to writers in a really blunt way because he truly doesn't give half a shit about anything. Doesn't give a fart, really. And there's like a lot of people don't listen to him, and I'm like, you know, maybe you're not that good. You only get featured because you have followers and shit. And like maybe they have a point. They don't. He's a really good writer, but you know, I can see why they are saying that. I try to play the good cop to his bad cop, but you know, he's a really good, really good editor. But I do think that sometimes it's not that he's too bland, it's just he's really honest, right? And he tries to sugarcoat it, but he fucking sucks at it. So he tries to do this thing where he's like, okay, I'm going to say something positive and something negative, right? He's like, okay, the negative, this story is shit. The positive is I am, you know, not dead yet. And it's like, Ross, I see where you're coming from. You know, you're trying to make a joke about you not committing suicide. Hilarious, but that is not how people work.
I forget the joke was more he's going to drop dead at about 25.
Yeah, he's surprisingly... Oh, look, King Moriarty left a comment after I talked about my story in that story, saying, can I be honest? This is not a good story, in my opinion. Thank you, King Moriarty. That is exactly the high up I need when I'm feeling insecure and vulnerable while talking to a lot of people at the same time. Oh no, thousands, dozens of eyes, you know, on me. This is horrible. Yeah, whatever. Doesn't really matter. So yeah, the contest was an interesting. Oh yeah, after Mr. Numbers got featured with 0 followers, he actually didn't say to them, "Why are you spamming Plum?"
Because you're switching between the different tangents that you've taken seemingly at random.
This is super hard to. I cannot imagine what kind of person is listening to this, because this is not an enjoyable conversation. This is seeing a Spaniard having a psychotic breakdown, you know, on camera.
And also turning into a robot, apparently.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
What? Sorry, what? I missed that.
Your connection's going weird and you sound like a robot.
Basically.
Oh, sorry, that is. I can open the door so the internet waves come clearer.
I mean,
but, you know, I don't know how computer works, so I suppose that I could do that. Well, you talk for a while, you know. Let's talk about yourselves. Plum, what can you say about being a story approver on film fiction?
I can say it's very fun that I get a chance to deny the stories of Mr. Numbers, especially when
especially when your reasoning is that the author is too gay.
Yes. No, too gay.
Yay.
Gay.
I mean, he hangs out with me. So yeah. I got a private comment from I'm going to be embarrassed so much. I got a private comment from King Moriarty saying, in my defense, I was assuming you wouldn't read the comments before finishing the podcast. So
apologies, King Moriarty, but we tend to read all the comments and talk about them during the stream.
Basically.
It's just, the comments are just shit like, you know, you will always be 12 years old in my heart, and, you know.
Aragon?
And you are so brave. Yeah.
Try unplugging your headset and plugging it back in. That may fix it. Or at least RT Stevens figures it might.
Okay, can you hear me now?
You're still pretty robotic.
Yeah, I think that's just his internet.
I mean, that is pretty neat, you know. That is pretty neat, the whole robot thing. But I don't know if I can fix it because this is a laptop. There is no actual. I don't know what to do. I'm going to open the door.
Rather than
it's probably an internet thing.
Or maybe I should just close the tabs and the programs that I'm using that are eating all the one base.
It might not hurt.
Might not hurt. I have like 7 million of them. Yeah, probably hurt. Mr. Numbers is telling me something over Discord. I'm assuming it's something like, dude, you are talking too much about too many things.
Possibly you've used
nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about. So I'm going to make an effort. It really doesn't help if whenever I acknowledge the fact that I am horrible at this, you motherfuckers laugh at my face. You don't even have like the presence to try to go like, and you go, ha, you fucking liar. Anyway.
Well, we laugh at everyone.
You have an ego slightly larger than Mars.
No, don't break him.
Jump from the top of my ego is always that
Don't
I used
break
to say.
him. He's beautiful and precious.
Doorbell, Aragon does not ever stop talking. This is the third podcast he's been on. In total, between the 3 podcasts, we've had less than 5 minutes of airtime. That wasn't his.
I really like Doorbell, actually. I don't know. I assume it's a she because, Bell sounds like a girl. Oh, it's a she.
Doorbell is female, yeah.
She's a
Holy fuck, I can't believe I got this right. This is a first, I talked about Ferret as a guy for like 2 years. She was my editor, and I still refer to her as a guy because I'm an idiot.
Because I just thought it was too funny to correct you. I just didn't care. People want to think I'm a guy, that's fine. I don't give a shit.
Actually, that is like super. I'm not going to say whom for obvious reasons, but there's like one user on Facebook that is like, I think it's a she. She's kind of famous. A lot of people think that she's a he, and she never says otherwise because it's interesting in her opinion how differently people treat you when you're a girl or when you're a guy. And like, it's kind of sad and at the same time kind of makes sense, I suppose, because, you are taught from a really young age that you should not treat girls and guys the same way. You can punch a dude, but you cannot punch a lady unless,
God, no.
Actually, I'm going to put a sentence unless, you shouldn't punch a lady.
You live in a terrible area, Arch.
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, as does Aragon, to be fair, but
Yes.
Yeah.
his area is significantly larger. Most people refer to it as a country. The part is Aragon can't even deny it. All those empty highways.
Oh, look at that!
I'm reading the comments. Lucky Roll is like deep thoughts about gender equality. Do I dare to say this in public, Lucky? You know what I'm talking about. If she bleeds, do I dare to say this? I'm going to wait for him to reply to see what I say. And remember when Aragon said he let other people talk and then talked anyway? Yeah, fuck you, Bear. Fuck you.
Yeah.
We were never expecting him to let other people talk. That is, it's like believing in, fairies. It doesn't happen, but it's nice to think about.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't think he would manage. Let's be completely honest. Yeah,
Lucky people can't understand you because you're a robot, which is racist as fuck.
Yes, it's super
Well,
racist.
he's a robot. And look at his hoodie. Stand up. Shows you hoodie.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh yeah, I have like the Futurama thing. Oh,
and his webcam's cut out.
Yeah, I can still hear you, but like, Google Chrome is frozen. Can you hear me?
Okay, try restarting your computer or just restarting the session.
Yeah,
just leave it and come back.
Come back.
Mm.
And in the meantime, we'll talk about something.
Yeah, we'll be able to talk for a moment.
Yeah, we can point out that Lucky has decided if being racist is wrong, he doesn't want to be right.
Yeah, that sounds pretty true.
Yeah, I like that idea. His vocal cords have started compressing his speech so he can say more words. You win all my internets tonight.
Yes.
Lady Frey describes this podcast as a trip. Very accurate. Any conversation with Aragon is a journey to dubious destinations.
Well, it doesn't really have a destination. It just
it's like you get on a ring road and you don't really get off.
Okay, am I there? Am I
You
online?
You're back. You're not a robot.
No,
Hooray.
Repeat your question for Lucky before you do anything else.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, do I dare Lucky to say that? If she bleeds, should I like finish that sentence on live life? I probably shouldn't. Anyway, I love how I had to rejoin the conversation. I love how ominous the terms for Google Hangouts are. It's like you must be aware that people who don't know you will see you. And they can post this on the internet, and they can.
Lucky Roll says no.
Okay, story time. Yeah, Lucky Roll and I have we both hate anime. Okay, I don't think this is a secret. If you follow me, you have seen me talk about anime. I fucking hate it. I fucking hate most of the culture behind it.
Yeah, your blog's on the topic of male harems and stuff like that. Very amusing. Yeah.
Exactly. Not the fans, some of the fans, not all of them. It's just, the production value, how that industry works, whatever. So obviously, Lucky also hates anime. We watch shows every weekend, shitty shows to just have a horrible time and riff the shit out of them. And there is one show called Diabolic Lovers.
Oh, yeah.
And it is
Ferret knows what you're talking about.
Ferret is weeb trash. I know what he's talking about.
It is the best show I've ever seen. I am absolutely not exaggerating. I know that it sounds like I'm going to be exaggerating, but I dare you to do this. The show is literally nothing but rape.
Lucky Roll says no, don't go there. I am begging you.
Every single episode is 15 minutes of rape. Nothing else. It's the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
it's like I mean, at first you're like my favorite scene because Lucky Roll and I will try to guess how fucking horrible it was, right? And the show is just like you have to see it to do anything. Not a single character.
What's the name of this show? Sorry.
Diabolic Lovers with a K.
Okay.
It's a show that is trying to. It's a show that I have a theory, right? This is trying to check to get money out of the whole Twilight.
Just watching it ironically.
Yeah, I just watch it ironically. We were not into it. It's not like I have planned a fanfic about it. My favorite couple is Fedora Guy and Cockwarmer being together in a road trip to Las Vegas. Amazing. I don't actually remember the names of the characters, so I just give them nicknames. My favorite was Fedora Guy because in a group, he was actually wearing a fedora, right? Mm-hmm. In a group of 10 people, all of them rapists, he's still the misogynistic one. He still manages to be sexist.
It's really kind of impressive. Like, he takes it to a whole new level of misogyny.
She meets the main character. She's like, hello, little bitch. And that is actually how she calls her during the entire show. He never learns her name. I have the theory he never learned it, He just calls her bitch. It's like 15 minutes of rape every single episode. Not a single character walks, right? They don't walk. I know this sounds weird, but whenever they need to introduce a character in a new scene, right? They don't actually show the character walking into the room. There's always one character is already in the room, and then there's a noise, and she turns around, and the character is there, right? Huh. Has been there the whole time. And that is like, because they are vampires. By the way, this is about vampires. I don't know if I said that.
Everyone just spontaneously teleports in this show. Like, nobody walks anywhere. They just go, ding, and I'm there.
They just like, oh, I wonder what my father would think of this. Well, I think he will say you're a little bitch. He's like, Takano-kun, and then zoom, and the guy has been here the whole time, And the first time it kind of, I'm not going to say it works, but I see what they're doing this, right? Because, they are mysterious and shit. But the thing is, they never stop doing this.
The first time it's at least surprising and kind of interesting. And
but at one point, at one point, that the girl is never alone. Nobody walks into any room. She turns around and there's people there. It's incredible. So this show is literally, every single episode is 15 minutes of all the characters romantically raping the protagonist, Like
Lady Crane has provided a link to watch this on animehaven.to/diabolic-lovers.
And Lucky Roll points out, to be fair, at the end of the boss fight, one of them walks for like 6 seconds. So that's probably where the budget went.
They blew the entire budget. At the end of the boss fight, one of them goes like, and it's the only time that you see feet moving. And it's like, oh my god, they know how to draw because they're just stationary. The characters are never standing normally because this is supposed to be like a waifu generator, a husbando generator, right? So every single pretty boy just stands around in a cool pose. So they are talking, and one of them will be like this.
It's JoJo poses.
But JoJo pose actually looks interesting. This is like, I'm gonna pose like my spine is broken.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
Yeah,
I'm missing
exactly.
like 4 inches off my leg, but I don't want to admit
It's
it.
incredible.
To be
It's
fair, a
incredible.
fair few of JoJo poses could be described exactly as that.
This is true, but at least
Yeah.
some JoJo poses look like original and unique. These are just like, you've
Oh
been
yeah,
watching
everything in
too many
JoJo
model
is
magazines.
unique.
Yes.
I never
I
watched or read JoJo actually because you know,
I watched Stardust. I've watched the first 3 seasons of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I just finished it last week.
Mhm.
The JoJo posing is generally quite cast. That's true. I loved the first 2 seasons. The third one was kind of a love-hate thing, in that some of it was really cool, but then there were episodes where I was like, okay, I'm actually quite disturbed. Like this one episode, it was about a guy who can kill you through your dreams, and there was this like magical
Freddy Krueger?
Freddy Krueger. I was going to say, yeah, that is
Kind
Freddy
of.
Krueger.
Kind of. But it was like a Reaper figure, and like there was a scene where he belches eyeballs into people's mouths, and it was all very horrible, and I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, shit like that is why I've never watched JoJo.
Yeah.
But
And probably
There is
never
a
will.
really, there is a really famous. Yeah,
with
there is
this
a.
magic Reaper man was being controlled by a baby, and in order to punish the baby, they spoon-fed the baby its own shit. And I'm like, what? What?
Okay,
That
I
sounds
don't
about right
want
for
to
JoJo.
watch JoJo. I don't want to watch JoJo anymore. You know, that sounds like
Yeah.
less fun. You know, because people are like,
Yeah.
no, you have to watch. It's like amazing and super fun. Let's fun and amazing and more the Human Centipede, right? And like,
like a lot
I
of
mean,
it is.
Human Centipede 1 or 2, because they did make a sequel.
Yeah.
they make two
the
sequels.
sequels.
They make
Oh,
two
I
sequels.
only know about 1 sequel.
You know what's the
It
thing?
could be worse. It could be a Serbian film.
It could be. It very
Oh,
well
let's
could be.
not go there. Let's not go there.
But it's
please.
like JoJo. This is only season 3 of JoJo, by the way. The first 2
Yeah.
seasons.
You know, for kids. Oh, now they are fighting. Now they are, just punching a newborn baby and then raping his mother in front of. Why am I talking so much about rape? What is wrong with me today? That is a horrible thing. We should not joke.
I
about
thought you were
that.
describing the Serbian film.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
the
actually trying to
Serbian film
describe
is
the Serbian
hilarious
film.
because it's basically a checklist of offensive things,
Yes.
except the writer of the script and the director claims that the reason they made it was to show how terrible the state of censorship is in Serbia.
Yeah, they say
Serbia
that.
has like 0 censorship.
I was
When it
going
comes
to
to
say
film.
that film deserves to be censored.
Yes.
Yeah. Censorship is one of those things that you can't really talk about because whenever you're trying to be like, no, but nothing should be censored because, the age of information and the press is the 4th power and you have to get power. And yeah, my own sister is a journalist, I believe in that. But then you see shit like this and you go, my favorite piece of, let's call it censorship discourse is I'm a Fire Emblem fan. I don't know if you know what that is. It's a series of Japanese video games. Doesn't matter. They are like strategy video games. It's just kind of anime-esque, I suppose. It's
they're strategy video games where you can literally ship the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
You're
a
totally
strategy
weak
video.
trash.
Yeah, shut up.
Wee bitch.
No.
In the
I think I'm
interim,
shipping trust,
Aragon,
is what they
Lucky
say.
Roll says, Aragon, make the Johnson joke.
The what? I actually don't know what you're sorry. You have to understand that I make a lot of jokes, for a lot of the time. I can't remember every single one of them. He write it down. I'm pretty sure of it. No, yeah, I was going to say in Fire Emblem. I'm trying to be serious, dude. I'm trying to to take
I'm
off
reading
the
Lucky
mask.
Roll's comments. It's not my fault. It's his.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will read them too. But if I do that, I will take some of the internet waves, and the magical gnome that lives in my computer will get angry, and then I will start sounding like a robot again. Only half of
Lucky
what I
Roll
said is.
says there is a difference between censoring something because you're an evil government, want to keep your shit secret, and censoring something because it's a baby getting shit spooned.
Spoon fed.
Pretty much. Yeah, he's gonna.
Anyway, you were talking
gonna
about
poly
Fire
that.
Emblem and
Yeah.
denying that you're a
Yeah, Fire
weeb.
Emblem. The thing, I remember talking with a friend of mine who is super against censorship, and he was like, "Dude, they are censoring Fire Emblem." I was like, "What?" And they were like, "Yeah,
Why?
because there is a mini game in the newest Fire Emblem, in which you can dress up your units, because they know their audience, and it's like, yeah, you have to fight in this war, and it's like this huge." Dehumanizing conflict in which people who are,
It's like Final
have
Fantasy
families,
Tactics.
yeah, who have families and like dreams and hopes kill each other, but you
a
can
really
dress
big,
them in
heavy-handed
funny
war
outfits,
is
and it's
bad.
amazing. Exactly. It tries to tell you that war is bad by making it funny, which is kind of not the best way to go around it. But I like the game. I like the game. I'm just leaving
And I
it
mean, there are so many games that more effectively do the war is bad, like this war is
Spec
mine.
Ops the Line.
Yeah,
or
and Spec Ops. Like, you don't really need another game telling you war is bad.
Spec Ops
kids.
fuck you up. Spec Ops fuck you up. It's like a game. I haven't actually played it because I'm shit at FPSs, but it was like an entire playthrough. And I was like, dude, at the end, you're like,
wow.
Fucking hell. It's amazing. It's amazing.
I was like, this looks interesting. I should watch a Let's Play. And a friend of mine goes, no.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, no, I'm not doing that.
You know, my little brother was like, my little brother, when he was like 14 or so, he was like, dude, this, and you know, do you think I should play this game? I heard it's really good. And I was like, yeah, it's going to fuck you up really hard. Like,
but it's a really good game.
Was like,
yeah, really
he has nightmares or whatever. It's a really good use of the medium. Yeah.
Like,
So
one scene where you bomb civilians with white phosphorus, which is
don't try to spoil it. Don't try to spoil it because some people
Lady
might
Froey says, Spec Ops the Line, or as I call it, PTSD, the game.
Basically.
Pretty much. It's actually interesting because it's, you know, and a lot of people get angry at me when I say this. It's doing Apocalypse Now. It's actually doing Heart of Darkness, but Apocalypse Now. You know, Heart of Darkness is a really good book, right? Apocalypse Now did it better. Did the book better than itself, right? It's a better story, the Heart of Darkness. And Spec Ops The Line is, I believe, a better experience than Apocalypse Now because it makes you feel the whole message more strongly because you are taking part in it.
Well, that's the thing that video games can do that no other medium really can because you are the main protagonist. You know, if someone's in a video game, then and it's properly expressed, you know, the video game makers know what they're doing.
You feel more
an actual real loss rather than, oh, Sir Leonard has lost his little brother in a fight. Oh no.
I mean, fiction can fuck you up. Reading a book, I believe that reading a book can fuck you up. Watching a movie can fuck you up. But video games, if they do it right, they can fuck you up. Well, maybe better, maybe worse. It really depends on the execution. I don't think that video games
on how you're taking in the medium too.
Like, I don't believe that video games are the future. And I've actually heard a lot of criticism about Spec Ops The Line, which is actually, you know, it has a point. I don't think it has the right point, but I see where they're coming from. By saying that this video game is chastising you, the player, for doing this. But the video game is the one who forces you to do this. You cannot take another option. You cannot choose the right path. You are forced to be a horrible person. And it's like, yeah, you are, but you know, that is like criticizing a musical because they sing and dance. I see where you're coming from, but you are missing the point. Yeah, of course it's forcing you to do that. It has a story, but you're supposed to like relate to it. It's not chastising you, it's sending a message. It's telling a story, you know, it's fucking you up, which is what it's trying to do. Yeah.
Less about PTSD the game. Talk about Dragon Age.
Says Lucky Roll.
Oh, fuck Dragon Age. Yeah, he's angry because I have never played Dragon Age, and he wants me to play Dragon Age, and I talk about Dragon Age like I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Whatever. Fire Emblem. We were talking about this, and I don't want people to get cock-blocked about the whole Fire Emblem thing. Is there any more people, aside from Lucky Roll, watching us? Because we keep mentioning Lucky Roll, and I think that, you know, maybe he's the only one who's still, you know...
No, we got a fair few.
Lady Froey, Cursoe, Purple Pros,
since we seem to have
Doorbell was watching, I believe.
Conversation.
Yeah, the numbers wandered off until we were done discussing Diabolic Lovers, so we have to talk about him again. Talk about it again when he comes back.
Numbers is so going to be yelling at me. If I go back to Discord, he's going to be yelling at me. I just know that he will tell me that this was a horrible podcast because I never shut the fuck up, and I will be like, sorry, dude. Anyway, yes, whatever, censorship. Fire Emblem is a game about war, but it's not as powerful or as serious as Spec Ops The Line. It's more like, oh, you have fun and you are seeing a fun story. But the thing is, it has a minigame in which you can dress up the characters. And you know Pokemon Ami, you know, this minigame that appears on the DS in which you can pet your Pokemon, right? Like the Pokemon appears on the tactile touch screen. You can like play with it, you know, and pet it, and you can like touch the face of the Pokemon. And you're like, yeah, because it's a cute dog. Yeah, you can do that with the soldiers in Fire Emblem. You can get this lady or this teenage girl and just like pet her and touch her boob and her crotch, and they react and they go like, we should go to a more private place before doing this. and they obviously censored this in Europe. I don't know if in America, but yeah, it had like a lot of weirdly sexual elements that had nothing to do with the game, the original. It's a perfectly safe game for all the plus 12 because there's people dying, but it's like a normal game. And then suddenly you can just molest your army, and it's like, I mean, Japan, right? But can we please not do this? Can we just not? And they censored that. And I remember my friend being angry at this. And maybe like, censorship is sometimes about, I think this work is better because of the censorship, actually. I think that you have to draw a line when there is actually the possibility of causing harm to people. And this is a video game that is going to be played by little kids. And yeah, if it's going to be sold to little kids, better to censor the most weird shit that can fuck them up. I'm not saying that sexuality can immediately fuck you up, but sexuality portrayed under a horrible light. This is why I hate harem comedies, for example. Yeah. Or some of the most standard anime cliches, because it's not just sexualization of characters. Whatever.
It's the normalization of sexualization of characters.
It's the normalization of
sexualization too.
Exactly. It's the normalization of it's this idea that if you see any romantic comedy in anime form,
Lucky Roll says, "Here we go."
If you see any, no, this is my rant. If you see any like show
rant, and then we're gonna wrap up.
Yeah, we do have to wrap up soon.
Oh, really? Oh,
shit.
Can't we have like an extra hour or something? Can't I go back?
Because we have shit to do with our lives, unfortunately.
Fair enough.
I mean, I wasn't trying to single anyone out.
I hate myself so much.
Come on, don't you have to go get drunk and read lesbian porn?
Okay, I read lesbian comics. I don't read lesbian porn, right? I do that.
You don't do it intentionally.
I do that on accident, but I don't do it.
I read it for the plot.
No, actually, I actually have read one story. There is one story that I read, like not knowing it was porn, but midway through, it was horribly obvious that it was porn. Because they just started fucking. There was no build-up.
That is generally a part of
when I go, maybe this time, No, it was just a really... okay, this is a really weak thing to say. So after saying that I hate anime, it's going to make me sound like a hypocrite. But it was like a Haruhi Suzumiya doujin.
Oh, dear.
Not actually a Haruhi Suzumiya. There is like a super common alternative universe in which all the characters are like inverted. So the girls are guys and the guys are girls. And it was just, I shipped two of the main characters. It was just a romantic doujin based on those two, but with inverted sexes. And I was like, no, why not? And it was super well written. It starts with them going to, we're going to camp in this field alone, together, at night, with condoms. And I was like, let's give it a chance. But they start bantering, They don't talk like, oh, you're so hot. No, they start actually bantering with each other. Start insulting each other playfully, talking about the plot. And it was like super well written, right? And they keep bantering about their lives and are like super invested. And then the girl is like, oh, it's kind of cold. Do you want to come into the tent? And the guy's like, nah, I'm okay here. Nah, come here, you fucking idiot. You always do this. You're fucking freezing. I can see you, like trembling. And I'm like, good old report. Next page, they are fucking.
Yeah.
Like, they are not fucking,
What expected to happen?
So Ross has returned, which means we have to start talking about Diabolic Lovers again.
Yeah.
Okay, Diabolic Lovers, yeah. So it's literally my favorite moment in that show is when one of the main characters picks up the girl next to a pool, right? And he starts talking to her or something like, you belong to me because I'm a vampire and I want your blood and whatever, and she's just looking at him, terrified, completely terrified. And Lucky and I were like, wouldn't it be hilarious if he just like, fuck you, and just throw her into the pool. And right after we say that, the guy is like, you belong to me. He just throws her into the pool and she falls to the pool.
Yeah.
And then the guy just puts on a cool pose, like, tell me that and he starts saying this, tell me that you belong to me. Tell me that I am your owner. I'm like, oh, this is like a fetish, right? This is Lucky, are we watching porn? And I'm like, Lucky, are we watching porn? And he's like, shh, I'm invested,
Okay.
That's right, blame Lucky.
Two things quickly. The first is Pear says, well, people were saying to Numbers, if you can't take the heat, stay out of the kitchen because he's complaining. Pear says, Numbers stayed out of the kitchen, but Aragon is throwing the oven after him.
And the good news is you guys are really impressed at how fast you can subject swap.
Yeah, and Cursory agrees. I'm impressed with how fast he went to a completely different topic. I am as well. I was going to actually mention this before they brought this up. But the thing about you, Aragon, is there is no pause in between topic changes because you can just shift rails immediately and go on a different train of thought, which is why there's this constant stream of words coming out your mouth. Whereas for me,
I could do that.
Yeah, if it's me and I have to change topic, I've got to go like, right, what did I leave off? Okay, so I was talking about this, but before that was that, and then we were talking about harem comedies before that, and then it was something to do with vampires. Oh yeah, now I remember. And then you had to go on it from there. But you just shift gears like seamlessly. And it gives nobody else a chance to talk.
That's so scary. When I did an Ask Me Anything on fanfiction, one of the questions that I got asked was...
Ross says your brain is the multi-track drifting meme.
Yeah, pretty much. One of the questions that I got asked was, okay, I've always wanted to ask you this. How do you, talk so much? How do you keep talking all the time? How do you switch so fast? Because I spent like 20 minutes thinking about this comment before posting it and, rethinking it. And whenever there's like a conversation, I don't know how to join or what to say, because by the time that I have thought of what I'm going to say and worded it in my mind, they have changed topics already, so I don't know what to say. Mm-hmm. So how do you think that fast? And I'm like, you think before speaking? Well, maybe that is the problem.
Yeah, that's kind of your first mistake.
Yeah.
I never speak. I think that most of the people don't actually think before speaking. The whole thing before you speak is about making a little bit of introspection before the conversation starts and making like a mental checklist. What should I not say? Probably not mention diabolic lovers, not say the whole I will give you so much dick you will turn into a field mouse message that I got the other day. That was weird. Not talk about the Buddhist temple. Definitely not talk about the taste of Ross's penis. And probably that too. And then you start the conversation, right? And you just improvise. But people improvise while talking. So people who tell me that they have to word every single thing in their heads before speaking, it's like, dude, that must be super harsh on you. And I'm like not trying to be cheeky here. That's like, Christ. I mean, I sure as fuck do not think as fast as I speak. So like for me, that would be impossible. I will just never speak, which I guess will make for a better word. But I'm trying to, give something to the conversation. I just don't like silence, I suppose. Like I found that there is like a trick to awkward silences, and it's just lie to yourself and think that you don't care that nobody is speaking. You go to an elevator and nobody's speaking, and the guy in the elevator, but he doesn't like you and you don't like him, and it's super awkward. So the best thing you can do is just look at the horizon and act as if you didn't give a shit while he's squirming and trying to look at his phone and like looking the other way and do like, yeah, I'm doing this because he takes coke or whatever. I don't know. I just, my nose is just sorry. And doing shit. Like you just stand there completely silent and completely still, and he will scream so fucking hard. Why am I talking about this? Whatever. Yes, the thing is, I hate awkward silences. I can stand them if I really try to, but it's horrible. So that is why I'm constantly speaking. If nobody's speaking, I will be the one talking. So that is pretty much.
Aragon, even if someone else is speaking, you'll still be the one talking.
This is true.
Yeah. I love you, but it's totally true.
Yeah, probably.
No,
I actually dislike one of my roommates because I think that he talks too much.
Wow. What?
That's kind of terrifying.
I was going to end the stream, but holy fuck, we need to hear about this.
Because even though I speak a lot and I interrupt people a lot, he does exactly the same as I do, right? He's just talking nonstop. Doesn't matter if you're listening, doesn't matter if you're talking about the same thing, he's just talking. The thing is, if you try to interrupt him, eventually I shut up. I stop talking. It takes me a while, but I stop talking. He doesn't. he never. Why is Arconix laughing so hard? Is it because I said that I stopped talking and
Because
ironically?
Ross goes,
Said in the
Aragon
chat.
considers small talk a form of awkward silence.
Yeah.
Yeah, small talk is awkward. I need to be passionate about this. The other day, somebody was talking in Discord about something like there is a game called Don't Let Me Get Started, and it's just somebody gives you a random topic and you have to rant about it. I'm like, I want to play that. And somebody said, you are always playing that, you have never stopped playing that in your entire life. Or like this other game that you wanted to play with Horizon Ferret. This called The Stories of Mannhausen.
Oh, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. We're also going to play, it's basically, we're going to be playing a version of it that's sort of a mashup between that and Yes, Dark Overlord.
Okay, can you explain it to the audience? Because I would do that, but
The quick and dirty explanation. Baron Munchausen is basically you are living in the past and you are telling these epic monologues of this insane, crazy shit that you didn't actually do, but you're pretending that you did. And people can try and trip you up and be like, but what about that elephant invasion in 1432? And you go, yes, blah, 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 blah. Yes, Dark Overlord is basically the Dark Overlord goes, you fucked up. And you go, no, I didn't, Dark Overlord. I totally did this and that and the other thing, and it was his fault. And you
it's a game about improvising.
Yeah, it's an improv game. We're Bad Horse, myself, book player, Jaxie, J-Mac, and probably someone else who I'm forgetting are going to be trying to do a panel for it at BronyCon. And if we can't do a panel, we're going to do it as an after-hours game.
I still feel bad about not talking about Jaxie that much, because I was trying to make a point. Because I did say something, I did imply that there's something wrong with him, and then I say no, he's a good technical writer, and then that is like being done by faint praise because now it sounds like he can do anything else. The thing about Jaxie is I think he's a clever individual, maybe too clever for his own sake, and he has a tendency. I think he's a really good writer, but a really mediocre storyteller, and that it makes it awkward for me to read most of his stuff because he has a tendency, and I know he's really good at writing. I cannot stress this enough, right? I am not saying I'm better than him, quite the opposite. I'm pretty sure he's a good person and shit, but I do find that his stories tend to be a little bit of a character who is obviously Jaxie's persona speaking with one of the main six and just teaching her something. A lot of his stories tend to be just a conversation between two, and one of them is obviously right and the other is obviously wrong, and it's kind of a strawman thing. It works sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't. I mean, we all know the story about Would It Matter and stuff. So that is my problem with Jaxie. I think he has like really good stories. I've heard that, this one, he has about 81 days around the world or something. I've heard that one is amazing.
Around the world in 81 days and other problems caused by leap years.
Yeah, apparently that is like super good because he tells, and I'm pretty sure that if he tells a story, he can create compelling characters. But he has a tendency to, sort of he wants to explore an idea and he forgets to tell a story, which damages him as a writer, I believe, which is a shame. But I don't know how to tell him this without sounding like an asshole. So I just never give him any criticism. He'll be fine. I'm pretty sure that he won't mind anyway.
Well, just link.
So yeah, the whole improv thing. I would love to play that improvisation game because like I do that all the time in real time. Not only just switching topics, just improvising with my brother a lot, actually. He would just come home and start talking about whatever. And I go like, I'm not going to go on an example because then I will never stop. But yeah, the whole improvisation thing, I would like to do improv. I would like to, go on a stage and try to improv a scene based on a prompt. Or just rant about it. I suppose that could work too. Also, we should be wrapping up soon. Because it's like 4 in the morning. And even though I would love to keep talking about stuff, I do know that, it's 4 in the morning and you guys probably have like important adult business to do. I'm just going to stay here.
In 7 hours.
Oh dear, plum.
Yeah, it includes a 20-mile drive. Yay.
So I have 7 hours left to speak, is what you're telling me. And so, Plum, remember when not so long ago, when I was in the first podcasting here, you were like, you are lucky I wasn't there because I can moderate you. If I had been there, you would have
moderate you better than what happened, which is true because other people got to fucking speak this time.
Yeah, because I let them. I mean, I could do a podcast that is just me speaking to a wall, I mean.
We could do a podcast which was just you speaking to a wall. You'd probably insult as many people as you have with Jaxie. you know.
Somebody's going to send him this and go like, go to
he
this.
wasn't trying to insult Jax.
I'm going to send him this. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and you're going to avoid the first half of my speech. And you're going to go straight for the ending, you know.
You're saying that you weren't trying to insult him, but really, would it matter if you were?
Oh!